Either. Good morning, everyone. Barack Obama is one step closer to locking up the Democratic presidential nomination. He remains in the hospital after being diagnosed with spirits. Senator Kennedy is still pushing to attend a sailing race this weekend off Cape Cod. Some encouraging news out of the Middle East this morning. Israel and Syria confirm they're holding indirect peace talks with Turkey mediating. These are this morning an example of the sheer will to... And there was another development in the Obama campaign on the lighter side. In a rare move, the Obamas allowed their two little girls to join them for an interview with Access Hollywood. And 10-year-old Malia talked about what it was like seeing her mom in People magazine for the first time. Take a listen. Overhaul the regulations since the Great Depression. Hillary Clinton is making it clear that she's not giving up despite Barack Obama's widening lead. Absolutely. Thank you for that, Heidi. Well, this month, the first ever female was accepted onto the team of highly trained police officers that make up Los Angeles' SWAT team. Many say this is long overdue, but this morning, others are speaking out against it, saying putting... All right, I'll take it, Diane. Thank you. And good morning again, everyone. No more playing nice on the campaign trail. Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton are taking their best shots as they... Now, Matthew Fox will have you on the edge of your seat in a movie, the new thriller. Overseas this morning, a high-ranking officer in... It's about the perspective of the different characters involved. There's an assassination. 7, it's time for the weather. And Sam Champion. And no, Sam, in New York City, there's a disturbing new development following that deadly crane accident. Police say a city inspector who claims to have inspected the crane was lying. Here's ABC's Jeremy Hubbard. Second. A former member of the Symbionese Liberation Army, Sarah Jane Olson, has been released from prison after serving 6 years. In medical news, it may come as no surprise that cases of asthma, hay fever, and food allergies are way up in recent years. Even some serious diseases are becoming more common. But the reason why may surprise. An out-of-control car turned streets into chaos in the news at 7-Eleven. Belligerent beef. More than the usual rush hour confusion near Toronto, but it's true nonetheless. A cruel twist of fate cost a father his life in a deadly shooting at a Wendy's restaurant in Florida. Plug for Jake there, but he deserves it. It's a great blog. We have Bianca Golodriga in this morning. She's got all the rest of the morning's headlines. Good morning, Bianca. History in here takes the argument forwards. Also, the little-known truth behind Geraldo Rivera's name. People talk about this. You can go to abcnews.com to read an excerpt from this book. When we come back, no surprise, the concert you've been waiting for, Janet, in 3 states this weekend. The race is so close among the Democrats, it's really coming down to each delegate and each dollar. And our senior national correspondent, Claire Shipman. Wild West comedy show is in theaters this Friday. When we come back here, Lenny Kravitz, the one who looks like John McCain and Barack Obama are looking beyond next Tuesday's critical primary. Mortgage crisis now has people tapping into their 401ks. There's even a new debit card that allows you to get money from your retirement savings just as you would from a checking account. Question is that a good idea? To answer it, financial. The safety of the nation's food has Congress's attention today. Senators will be asking agriculture officials about what's being done to guard the U.S. meat suppliers, but no one ever like who he's playing in his latest movie, The Bank Job. It's going to open up this Friday. He plays Terry Leather, a car salesman desperate for cash that robs a London bank and gets more than he bargained for. Network, ABC News now. Time for the weather. That means Sam Champion. Sam, done. CJ's going to get it, but we have to think about the other kids. They're going to get it as well.
And this...
Him from The Italian Job, Snatch, and The Trans... And he's going to get it. The good news here is that New York State says in 30 days, the lab will be approved for all the kids in the state. So that'll be good. The kids can get tested. However, there are still 40 states that need to approve this important test. This is a window into the future for genetic testing, often done by smaller labs. Let's begin with breaking news from China. The death toll is rising after a powerful earthquake shook western central China. The military plane packed with emergency supplies for cyclone victims landed in Myanmar, promising federal aid to areas of the South and Midwest. Let's get back to our friend Sam Champion, dealing with... Don't worry, you'll get happier later on.
Like you know anything about this
Well,
topic?
I don't, but you will learn before. You'll tell me about it. When you hit your 40s, let me know. And finally, Diane's favorite picture of the morning again today in hopes of avoiding a recession. The impact of the move, say analysts, all comes down to the size of the cut. Remember, just last week, the Fed cut the rate 0.75%. Still, the markets have suffered big losses since then. In Texas, wild-driven wildfires are threatening homes and ranches in the central. Finally, take a look at these amazing underwater... It's time for the weather. That means we're going to Sam Champion. Sam,
The news.
We'll get to that in just a second, but first, some of the other major headlines. It is decision day in Florida. The stakes are high as the Republican presidential candidates battle for dozens of delegates in today's primary. The House is expected to pass a $150 billion plan to boost the economy today. And a rare display of solidarity in Afghanistan this morning in hopes of finding a U.S. aid worker kidnapped over the weekend. All right, I've been asking you these questions about what you would do at the barbecue all morning. Now we get some answers and reasons why from this guy. And now we go to one of the summer's most popular television events, Shark Week on Discovery Channel. The series is celebrating its 20th anniversary this year with all 8 new shows that begin Sunday. Joining us this morning is this year's host. All right, thank you, Diane, and good morning again, everyone. Cleanup begins today in the Midwest after a string of nasty storms ripped through the region. Now we have a story of hope for you, a better future in Iraq, a true sign of progress in what was once one of the most dangerous parts of the country for U.S. troops, the city of Fallujah. Marines have gone from fighting insurgents there to handing out gifts. Our Miguel Marquez has the story. Brittany and Micah, you two were on the show. You had confidence. You were out there. Micah, you'd been looking for your brother. Brittany, Micah, you'd been up there looking for your big brother. Perfect. Thank you very much. So here's the statistics. 70% of Americans have problems sleeping. If you're one of them, you could be paying for those sleepless nights in ways you don't even realize. Who do we have today? Dr. Mehmet Oz. New video from Iraq shows the dramatic aftermath of a car bomb that killed for 5 seasons on 6 Feet Under. Well, now he's starring in one of the most highly anticipated new series of this fall. It's called Dirty Sexy Money. And if the name is any indication, it promises to be a wild ride. Question: how do you deal with a huge utility company that for years refused to stop spewing the type of pollution that causes acid rain? Well, clip now is some action. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
What's the other one?
The other one is called Audrey, and of course goes to the top of the pop charts.
Great topics, great ideas, and thank you. Monday, I'll go to abcnews.com, get all this information if you want.
All the titles.
And Monday, it is the parents' turn to pick up a good book. We'll reveal the top summer books for adults. So that's going to be great. You can find all of this again on abcnews.com. When we come back, Kate will give you the truth about the cats and dogs. What does maybe with cable now, they get new opportunities. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll see if we can fix our relationship with Mr. Shatner. We'll talk to Ken some more.
He's fine, I'm sure.
Trying to live on in memory of their friend. Time now for the weather. That's Sam Champion. Sam? Good morning. Stress in America, 73% of those said money was a stressor compared to just 59% in 2006. Money in marriages is always an issue.
Always an issue.
I'll open this to the floor and I'll begin.
No.
So that it's
Go
not
ahead.
Very often, I'll get an email saying, you mention the kids more than you mention your wife. Why? Well, clearly Christina is the most important person in my life. But you know what? I see her as more than just my wife. She's her own person. She makes her own money, Christina does. So when we get into the money thing, and I say, I don't like it, I don't think you should buy it. She says, it's my money.
Yeah.
So I'll do what I want. Different dynamics in different marriages.
But you still have fights over money, though, because it
all the
doesn't matter,
time.
right?
Usually my fault. I'm worried about it. I'm scared about the purchase.
Right, right. Well, that's good. Actually, we do the same thing in my household.